I hope you all can hear me.
There are occasional interruptions, but please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay. So our previous policy was actually formulated in 1986 and it was upgraded in 1992. The vision of that policy was to provide education, inclusive education to all the children. That is why the Right to Education, Free and Compulsory Education Act came in, and somehow we were able to reach the goal that it was meant for. Now the new policy has come in 2020, and this policy has got four parts. Policy, go to slide. Slide 2, please. Yes. So as I told you, our last policy um, was visioned to provide education to education system to be rooted in the Indian to transform India. As Indian is that our culture, who we are, and somehow we want to embed that into the education system so that we transform India. This policy also visions to bring high quality education to all and thus making India the global knowledge superpower. So this policy has got three important visions. The first vision is to root in system. Second vision is to provide high quality of education to, and the important is to make India a
Sorry,
global
Mrs.
knowledge
Kaushar,
super.
1 minute. Dr. Kaushar, 1 minute. I think the best is to switch off your video and save the audio for the network.
Okay, sir.
Right. Please kindly go ahead.
Can you see my video? I think it's switched off.
The video is switched off, but your PPT is available and you are audible.
Okay, sir. Is that enough? Am I clearly audible to all of you?
Yes, yes.
So as I said, we are starting with the fact that the vision of the policy will be very clear for all of us. And the vision is first to embed the Indian ethos into the education system, to transform that could lead to transformation and high quality education to all and making India the global superpower. These are the three important vision. These are the three important vision statements for us. Now, if we see our education policy, it is divided into four parts. Can we go to the next slide, please? The four parts are, the first part is the school education. The second part is the higher education. The third part deals with the other areas of focus. And the fourth part deals with how to make it happen. Today we are going to take in depth the school education. It has got 8 further chapters to it. Today we will not touch higher education because that is the graduation and the post-graduation part. As we all deal with school education, we will take that part in detail. So this part has got 8 chapters. Can we go to the next slide, please? The 8 chapters are, to start with, the structure of the school. Can we go to next slide? Please make a note of this important point that previously we had a structure which was 10 plus 2. That is till class 10 and then intermediate or 11th, 12th. Now here the class 1 began at the age of 6. But the new structure begins at the age of 3 and it has got 4 parts. The first part is called the foundation stage, which is from nursery to grade 2. Previously, the kindergarten was nursery, LKG and UKG. But now it is from nursery to grade 2. And the second part is the preparatory stage, which is the stage which is from grade 3 to grade 5. And then we have got the middle school age, middle school, which is from grade 6 to 8, and secondary from 9 to 10. So from the previous structure, which was 10 plus 2, it will be changed to 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. Where 5 will be the foundation stage, nursery to grade 2, preparatory stage, which will be from grade 3 to 5, middle school, which will be from 6 to 8, and secondary school, which is from 9 to 10. Am I clear?
Yes, clear.
Now, this is the first part of the school education. As I told you, it has got 8 important chapters. The first chapter is structure. Now you're all clear with the structure. We will go to the second part. The second part, for the first time in the national education policy, the early childhood care has been mentioned from the perspective of learning. By this I mean that previously we used to have Anganwadis and Balwadis, where they were supposed to provide education to children in early years. But what happened there was, in that system, more importance was given health and health of children and lactating mothers. But now that is going to change. Here they are also talking about development and learning, and here they will also talk about uh, learning experience to be given. So early childhood care and learning has been included in the national education policy, and the target is 2030. By 2030, we ensure to be giving quality early childhood education. We will have curricular and pedagogical framework. I mean, what curriculum should we cover? How much should we cover? And pedagogical. Pedagogy is the way of teaching and learning. So what pedagogical framework we should give? This will be developed by NCRT. And these classes will have to have early childhood care and early childhood care and education qualified teachers. Till now, this was not the emphasis, but now properly certified and trained teachers only will be able to teach early childhood education. So this is very important point, which is the second chapter. So the second chapter will be dealing with early childhood care and education. Here, a framework will be provided by NCRT, which is somehow already there on their website, which we can all pick up. And it will importance of qualified early childhood teachers will be taken into consideration. And now we come to the third important chapter, which is the next slide. So the first chapter is the structure. The second chapter is early childhood care and learning. And the third chapter is foundation, literacy and numeracy. Can we go to the next slide, please? Now, in foundation, literacy and numeracy, it is being told that it is very important for every student to attend the bare minimum basic literacy and numeracy learning outcomes. That is the syllabus. So, it has been noticed that in most of the Anganwadi centers, more importance is given to the health of children and less importance is being given to the academics or scholastic records. So that is why the foundation literacy and numeracy have taken an importance. So they said that if children are not able to cover that foundation literacy and numeracy syllabus, they will make a 3 months play-based school preparation module. It will be a 3-month play-based school preparation modules. So all the children before they join grade 1 will have to take this school preparation module, which will be activity based and play based. And this will be developed by NCRT and SCRT. And after they complete this school preparation module and they get the foundation literacy and numeracy, they will be able to get admission in grade 1. So what they're trying to do is they want all the children to come on the same stage from grade 1. In this, it is recommended that pupil teacher ratio will be 25:1. And so this will be important. Apart from this, we have realized that reading is very important to develop literacy, and it will open the doors for lifelong learning. That is why a national book promotion policy will be developed, under which lot of books from different languages, genres, and geographical areas will be brought together, and this will be made accessible to all of us, both public and private sector, so that we are able to provide our children more books in different languages so that we develop their reading skill. Apart from this, now that you see lot of focus on literacy and numeracy and learning and teaching, but we do not want to ignore the health of the children. So they will also undergo regular health checkups by the school, and a health card will be issued to the children. So that health card will have the records. So this is about foundation, literacy and numeracy, which is the third chapter in National Education Policy, Part 1, which is school education. In this, the first important point is we will have a school preparation module, which will be 3-month play-based, activity-based module. And second important point is the ratio will be 25:1. And a national book promotion policy will provide us with a e-library, and health card will be made for children. So this is the third chapter. Now let's go to the fourth chapter. Fourth chapter will be focusing on the importance of controlling dropout rates. We have seen that 6.2 crore children of school age, 6.2 crores of children of the school age, which is between the age of 6 to 18, were out of the school. This is what the survey says. They were not attending the school in 2013. So that is why it is very important that we will be focusing on this goal to ensure 100% enrollment ratio in preschools. In preschools, that is from foundation years, that is 3 years, through secondary school by 2035. So our target is till 2035, we will ensure that we have 100% gross enrollment. Till now, that is till 2013, as per the survey, 6.2 crore, that's a huge number. That number of children were out of schools. So how are we going to attend that? So there'll be an effort that will be made both by the center and the state to ensure that there is universal access and afford opportunity to all the children. We have understood that access of education is also one of the reasons why this enrollment did not happen. So together, center and state will work to ensure that there'll be a universal access to education, and this will also include holistic development of children, vocational education, and that will be from preschool to grade 12. Counselors and social workers will be specially recruited to schools and school complexes. What is school complex is something that I will cover in the later stage. And these people, the counselors and social workers, will be working extensively to ensure that children join the school. Another important effort is including the alumni. Alumni of the school will be encouraged to reach out to the community and volunteer the efforts. So this point is focused towards ensuring that we increase or we reach 100% enrollment ratio by 2035. And this we are going to do together from the state and the center. And this will be done through counselors, social workers, and also through the alumni who will volunteer for this effort. So this is chapter number 4. Now chapter number 5. Can we come to chapter number 5? Yes. Now this is a very, very important and crucial chapter, and it talks about curriculum and pedagogy. This is a very lengthy chapter which will be covering lot of important points which should be known to all of us as educators. The first important point of this curriculum and pedagogy is that the structure will be restructured, which I told you in the first chapter. The restructuring is from 10 plus 2, now it is 10 plus 2. Now, from now onwards, once this policy comes into action, it will be 5 plus 3 plus 4, in which there'll be foundation stage, preparatory stage, middle stage, and experiential, and the higher grade stage. In the foundation stage, it will be play-based, activity-based learning. In preparatory stage, again it is activity-based and play-based learning. But here the textbooks will start. Before this, it is only workbooks, as in worksheets for children and activity-oriented. But in the second stage, that is from grade 3 onwards, we will start the textbook. Now in the middle stage, which is from grade 6, in this stage, we will see subject teachers. Before that, we will have home teachers only. So from middle stage, we will have subject teachers, and it will be more experiential learning. By experiential learning, I mean we want focus on project method, work, group work, excursions on natural. We if we are teaching them about plants, we want them to have a nature walk. Things like that will be included. So you can see a major focus or a major shift in the way the pedagogy is happening. By pedagogy, I mean the teaching learning process that happens in the class. So don't you see a major change in the way this has to be given? There is a major change in which all the process is more towards hands-on learning, holistic learning. So we are actually trying to shift the focus from rote learning. And do you all agree with this new change? See, we all agree that, I always say this in my sessions, that algebra never helped me solve the problems of my life. Do you agree? So that is why it is very important that we help children not just gain the knowledge, but also how to use that knowledge. If they will not be able to use that knowledge, then what is the point in gaining that knowledge? Now, if we see a lot of knowledge is available on Google also, then why are we only focusing on making them rote? So everything has to do something with imbibing that, making it a part of their own life. Even the history is there to teach us some lessons of life. Science is taught to make you aware of what is around you and about yourself. Math wants to teach you how to analyze your brain and how to be critical thinker. So these things are very, very important, and that is why our government and our country have thankfully realized the importance of holistic development and brought about this shift. Now, can we go to the next slide? So this in curriculum and pedagogy, now we have the structure where we have schools only till 10th grade, and 11th and 12th they go to intermediate college. So this option will be available for children where they can exit after 10th and they can go for vocational courses or the intermediate 11th and 12th. More details on this will come later. So if you see, the entire thrust of the curriculum and pedagogical reform is taken away from rote learning and given to hands-on learning. So what of teaching, the focus from what to teach have been shifted to how to teach. Now you see the importance, why a good curriculum and professional development is important, and why APHRDI have been so forward thinking that they've already started this for all of you. And in curriculum also, it will be restructured where there will be reduction in subject or core knowledge and more time will be given. Now we see that we don't have time actually. We want to give hands-on learning to children, but syllabus completion becomes a goal for teachers. And because of that, we are not finding time. So that is why little bit of the subject will be shortened or reduced, and we will be given more opportunity to provide them with project method, inquiry based, discovery based method, discussion based method, analysis based method. Today our presentation is about NEP policy. So today I will only tell you about what the government is telling us through the NEP policy. Later on, I will in next sessions probably we will also help you to know what do you mean by inquiry based, discovery based method, and how we can shift the curriculum and how we can train our teachers to be able to make this available to them. Now also, it also emphasizes on hands-on learning, art integration. Now we are teaching art and craft or drawing only like a recreation activity. When teacher is absent, when some other teacher is taking the classes, so they will do art and craft or drawing or they will go and play. Not like that. Now it will be integrated in the curriculum. There'll be assessments also for it. So sports integration and art integration will also be taken center stage. Now, children will be given flexibility and choice of subjects, particularly in the secondary school, that is 11th and 12th. They can have different combinations, as in, I can have science and arts as a combination, take sports and arts as a combination. So now that we have BIPC, MPC, CEC, we have strict combinations. It won't be like that. Children will be given a choice to make combinations. There'll be no hard separation between curricular and extracurricular, co-curricular, art, humanities, and science. All that will be brought together and an integrated curriculum will be made. Excuse me. So now you understand why it is important and how the entire change is going to come. Till now we used to teach art and craft and all this as extra activities, club activities, but now it will be as important as science, social, math, and English. Can we now go to the next slide? Now let's come to the most debatable and most talked about part of the national education policy, that is the medium of instructions. You all must have heard a lot of things about medium of instructions. So let's clarify that today. The national education policy says that medium of instruction until grade 5, preferably till grade 8 and beyond, will be home language, mother tongue, local language, and real language. Here, I want all of you to be clear with the fact that he is saying that, the national education policy is saying the medium of instructions. It is not saying learning that language. Learning a language as in the way we learn English. We learn vocabulary, we learn grammar. That is different from using a language to speak to your children. So what is the harm if the medium of instruction is your mother tongue? There is no harm. In fact, it will help your children connect with you better and you will be able to teach them better. Sometimes we see they are very, very good math teachers, but they are not good English speaking. Because of that, they are not able to perform well in the classes. So maybe this point, which has come under the national education policy, will make us better teachers. So they are not saying that all the teachers, it is mandatory to be in English medium, the way it used to be and the way it was supposed to be, especially in private schools. So here they have said that the medium instruction is preferably, again, it is not mandatory. They are not mandating it, but they are trying to tell you, shift the focus from using only English language and use whatever language you and your children are convenient for, so that understanding the concept is of more importance. Understanding the concept should be given more importance than using the right language. Okay, teacher will be encouraged to use bilingual approach. Again, you see, by bilingual approach, they are actually giving you the freedom that you can use English language or mother tongue. But what they're trying to tell you here is, don't keep focus only on English language. Use the language which is convenient both to you and your students, so that they have understanding the concept is better. The 3-language formula will continue to be implemented, keeping in mind, so no language will be imposed on any state. The 3 languages learned by children will be the choice of the state and the students themselves, so long as 2 or 3 languages are native to India. What they're trying to do is they want our children to learn our native languages. So they are saying, out of the first language, second language, third language that they learn, now this is not medium of instruction. Medium of instruction, they are saying you can use mother tongue or English, whatever you want, but they prefer that till 8th grade you use mother tongue, 5th and 8th grade. But now when you come to learning languages, in that they are saying out of the three languages, that is now we have English, Hindi and Telugu. So Hindi and Telugu anyways are our regional languages. So they are making it mandatory that out of these three languages that we learn, the two languages at least should be the Indian language. And then they are saying that foreign languages can also be provided, and that can be offered in secondary stage, not in middle school age. It will be in secondary, that is 9th 10th 11th 12th wala, the last stage. So do you find anything which is contradictory to the way it was so much spoken about, all the things that we were hearing about language use, that we are a diversified we are a diverse people in India. Here they are not talking about teaching that language. Here they are saying medium of instruction. So they're just trying to shift the focus from the importance of using only English language, and they are trying to tell you, giving you the freedom to use regional language for better comprehension of the content. And in three languages that you are going to teach the children in school as a subject, they want to give preference to two regional languages or Indian languages. Now, can we go to the next slide? So this is the most important and contradictory thing that was being spoken about NEP, about medium of instruction, that is language mother tongue. Now the next part, mathematics and computational thinking will be increased. As I told you, in foundation stage only, lot of hands-on learning has to be given. And in middle school, they want to take surveys, hands-on experiences, vocational craft, all this has to be increased. Now they will also want to increase the internship opportunities. Now here what they are trying to tell you is that they want to make education life of children better. That is why from grade 6 to 12, they also want to give them an opportunity for internship, which was normally given in graduation. Now they want to give it from grade 6 to 12 for vocational subjects, so that the employability of the children increases soon after schooling. So this is one very nice and beautiful step which is towards making children independent, financially independent, somewhere which is very very necessary for children, and so for our country to grow. And so they will be given the opportunities for internship in vocational programs, so that their employability increases. So all these changes in the curriculum and pedagogy will be made by NCRT, SCRT in alliance or in discussions with the schools and educators. And there'll be lot of significance on removing the textbooks, not lot of rote learning. So textbook and the heavy weightage of the bags or school bags will be decreased. I'm sure we all are happy with this shift. Now coming to the last part of the pedagogy, which is the assessment. Can we go to the next slide, please? Assessment or test. Now again, in assessment, as of today, all the assessment are paper-based assessment, and we only, we only test the curriculum. We only test the scholastic, as in the subject knowledge of children. But this is also going to change. The assessment culture in the school system will shift from summative, which is paper-based exam or rote memorization, to a more formative, that is competency-based or higher order skills, analysis, skill, and conceptual clarity. So because of this, the card will also change. I mean, the report card format will change, where the holistic development of the child will be taken into consideration. As of today, we see in the report card, it is English, math, science, social, like that. But now it won't be like that. It will be a 360 degrees multi-dimensional report, and this will be proposed by the National Assessment Center, SCRT, NCRT together. They will sit, make that report card and send it to you. It will also, this report card will try to take the holistic development, which is cognitive, affective, socio-emotional, and psychomotor domains of development of children. So, and this assessment will not be just paper based, but it will be project based, inquiry based learning, quizzes, role plays, group work, portfolios, along with teacher assessments. So you see the entire focus has been shifted from prey based learning to more of hands on learning. And that is why the report card format will be changed and it will be shared with all of us. Can we come to the next slide, please? Now, board exams. Usually in board exams, the children were under a lot of pressure to provide to academically perform. The percentages becomes very important and all of that. So this will shift now. The board exams will be very easier in the sense that it won't be only paper based. It will be 50% objective and 50% subjective. So, and children will be allowed to take the exam twice. And the best of the marks from the two exams can be kept with them. So they won't be under pressure in case that they don't perform well once. The second time they can perform well, and the best of the two can be kept with them. The guidelines for this will be prepared by NCRT in consultation with stakeholders like SCRT, Board of Assessment, and a new proposed and this will be coming into so this 21-22 will we have to still learn all these methods, and this will be practiced in 22 and 23. We will take some time to assimilate that into our education system, right? So once it is assimilated, then this will be taken into lot of consideration. Can we go to the next slide?
Dr. Kaushal,
Yes, sir.
this is Checkapani here. One point which I thought I'll try to seek a clarification is, while all these methods are very structured and have the ability to sort of judge a student who is in school. Now, as you know, there are a lot of dropouts from the schools as we go along, particularly in higher classes. And they're out of this formal method. Now, the new education policy, does it take into consideration this and try to capture how they can be monitored? Those who have left the school
completed the education. I understand what you are saying, sir, and it's a very, very important question.
In fact, there are a lot of criminal elements when you talk of psychosomatic or comprehensive development of a child.
You're perfectly right, sir.
A lot of these children who go out of the school become victims of this kind of a criminal behavior. So I don't know what methods do we have.
You are right. This is exactly the reason that the new education policy has come. Because if you actually see the reason why the children were dropping out of the school is because they had the pressure to earn. As long as they became a little older, they had financial issues. We cannot forget the poverty that our country has got, and because of that, many of them had to leave the school and get into working mode. So that is why the focus in this curriculum is vocational training. So when they are getting vocational training, and they're also saying internship. Internship can also be paid internship. So when we have paid internship and vocational training, that will shift the focus on making them ready to earn tomorrow. And that can become one of the major points. Because of that, children will not drop out. And the second important point where the focus is being shifted from rote memorization. Because of rote memorization also, it was getting boring for children. So now when it is project based, inquiry based, and when they're actually involved, that can be second reason. Because of this, the retention can increase. So I think paid internship given in the higher grades and vocational based training, shift from the rote system to hands-on learning, and sometimes the dropout is also because of the pressure of performing. They think that they won't be able to perform well in the assessment, so that is why they drop out. So now when we are easing out the assessment system, all this may actually add value to retain the children into the school. Now the schools are not becoming knowledge centers only, but the schools are also becoming a community which will work on development of children. There are certain elements in the policy which I will be covering in the later slides, which are also talking about the social emotional well-being of children. So we will have more counselors here where they will get help when they need. So I think all these aspects which are being recommended in national education policy now may act to the importance of retaining children in school. I hope I have answered your question, sir.
Yes, the only point I'm trying to still seek is
Yes,
uh,
sir.
those who are out of school need to be monitored in much greater measure for their propensity to get into unfortunate criminal behavior. You
See,
see,
they
it
get
is
the criminal
criminal
criminal.
behavior. You know, those who are outside the school, those who are
They,
part of the school, probably they are all very well groomed.
so now we're going to start
Yeah,
the school. The adult literacy programs will be there. The vocational training programs will be
but you
conducted.
know, adult literacy has hardly made any difference for containing
Yes.
criminality. That's the
And
point I'm trying to make.
will be there, as in the cluster schools will come together. Now they go and do all these criminal acts because of, they want to earn a living, either earn a living through wrong means, and second because they need some socio emotional uh, help. So when these two things will be provided in schools, maybe they may come back and join the school.
Yeah.
So we will be hopeful that all these steps will be able to bring them back to schools.
But your point is very well taken. The working with the communities is very, very important insofar as this is concerned.
I will be discussing school complexes in my next chapters.
Now,
It is coming
to that extent, in AP, there is a very good structure in the
very good.
Gram Panchayat.
Right.
In the
Actually,
Gram
your
Panchayats, each Gram Panchayat has about 10 employees. And there are a number of volunteers in each Gram Panchayat or also municipality.
I've read
So,
about this, sir. I've read
yeah,
about this.
so then the school system will have to very closely work with this structure to
Exactly.
ensure that these
Exactly.
are kept track of.
And that's where I was saying the other day that probably your structure can become an example for the country.
That's
So
right.
maybe you need to, share your structure with others so that people know what you're doing. Even the professional development that you're giving to your staff now itself, you're being so farsighted that you've already started with that. Now, when I
Yeah.
come further, I will talk about that professional development that is being talked about in NEP, which you're already giving. So
In
I think
fact, as you know, the APHRDI has started a massive program called the Child Friendly Local Governance.
exactly. That's all that which is already being written in NEP after so much of research is
Yeah.
being conducted by APHRDI. And that's why I was yesterday telling Bharti that you should come on the forefront and start sharing your best practices so that the other people adopt these methods.
Right, right. Thank you.
So if I continue, sir, and then
No,
we will,
please go ahead. Please go ahead.
as I
Sorry
was
for
talking,
the occasional interruptions. It's only to
it's
enliven the
important
proceedings.
actually. These discussions are all also a learning for all the attendees.
Right. Thank you.
Students will be taking also examinations in third, fifth, and eighth also, apart from the board examination that would be conducted. But all the tests will not be based on only the rote learning. It will also be based on, as we said, activity based. And these assessment results will not be used to as pass or fail to the next level. This will only be used for developmental purpose, as in have they reached the developmental domains. One session we should do on development and learning, where I will talk about the difference that development and learning brings. A national assessment center will be set up under MHRD that will fulfill the objectives. They'll provide you the guidelines and of how to conduct this kind of assessment, which is very different from what we used to conduct. The National Testing Agency will work to offer high quality aptitude test. Now, these aptitude tests will be these aptitude tests will become the basis of admission for universities. So now all the universities which conduct different entrance exam, to some extent that can be ruled out, and this NTA results can be used by university as common entrance exam. So that will help our children for their future growth. NCRT, will also develop guidelines to develop a B.Ed program for gifted children. Till now, gifted children were not spoken about. Children with special needs, learning disabilities were talked about, but gifted children who have more than what they more abilities, how to skill that, how to give them the right platforms. This was not there. So a special ed program for gifted children will be crafted, and it will be a specialization in that category will be provided to us. Now, topic centric and project based clubs and circles will be highly encouraged. And this will be how it will be conducted, is what we will see in the coming slides. Now, this is about the fifth chapter. So, you see a huge shift in the way pedagogical curriculum and pedagogy will be given. Yes, NTA will be conducting the all the test, and it will be a common test for the university admissions. And it will be under MHRDI department. Now, coming to the sixth chapter, next slide, please. Coming to the sixth chapter, which will talk about the most important people in the school, which are the teachers. Now, National Education Policy has given a lot of important points for the upliftment and empowerment of teachers as a community, and I'm so very proud of this. All the private schools, not just the government schools, but the NEP says that even the private schools must have qualified teachers similar to TET. Interviews, and they should have knowledge of the local languages. Teacher will be recruited to school or the school complex, as in a teacher will not be recruited only to one school, but they can be appointed in school complexes. What is school complex? I will deal in the next chapter. And then school complex is a cluster of schools within 3 kilometers area, and teacher will be recruited with the school complex. And if it is a good science teacher, they are not good science teacher of one school, but they can go to different schools in the school complex. In that cluster, all the schools, they can go and give knowledge and come. Isn't it so beautiful? So a teacher will be recruited with a school complex, and they can go to different schools and they can impart the knowledge. Teacher will be given autonomy to choose their own aspect of pedagogy. Pedagogy is a way of teaching. So a teacher can choose. They want to give classroom teaching, or they want to give hands-on learning, project method. They can make a choice. Most important is to make your children understand. Teachers will also need to focus on socio-emotional learning of children. So here you see socio-emotional learning is being given importance. Again, this is a huge topic, what it means by socio-emotional learning, which we will take in further sessions. And teachers will be recognized for their novel approaches. I mean, if a teacher comes out with a new way of teaching, which best practice, then they will be incentivized for this by giving them, in the form of funds or in the form of accreditations, awards. All this will be given, and teacher will be giving constant opportunities for self-improvement. How will this self-improvement happen? It will happen through professional development opportunities. Now, professional development opportunities, till now, it used to be like even in private schools, it used to be like 5-6 sessions in a year we do it for teachers. But it won't be like that now. 50 hours of comprehensive professional development will become mandatory for each teacher, and 50 hours for school leaders. So every year there has to be a 50-hour professional development, both for teachers and both for leaders, because we all agree with the fact that education is dynamic in nature. It is not constant, it's not static. So we need to keep learning the new ways, the new research which is coming in, which will make our teaching learning process very rich. And teachers who will be doing outstanding work will be recognized, promoted, and will be given salary increase. One of you have asked the question that how is it possible for one teacher to teach a cluster school? When I will take the chapter of cluster school, I will explain that in detail. Now we will talk about all the advantages that are coming to teachers. And as all of us are educators, let's be very, very happy that our profession is being recognized and given so much of importance now in the National Education Policy. A new system of multiple parameters for assessment of performance of teachers will be developed. Till now, performance of teachers were not assessed comprehensively. Now it will be assessed. It will be developed by the state and the UT government. And according to that system, according to the results of that system, the tenure, the decision of promotion and salary increase for each teacher will be decided. Career management of the teachers in the school will also ensure the growth of the teachers. Now, till previously, I mean, till today, that there is a hierarchy in the schools: pre-primary, primary, and higher school teacher. And we feel pre-primary teachers are the least important teachers in the school. But now it won't be like that. When we are talking about promotion, the pre-primary teacher will not go to primary, but in pre-primary only she will get, more and more empowered. So here there is no differentiation between the basic salary slab between pre-primary, primary and higher school, which used to be there previously. All the teachers will start with the same salary slab and increment will be on in the same level. It will be vertical. It won't be horizontal. And teachers, can we go to next slide? Teachers who will be demonstrating good leadership and management skills will be provided opportunities for training in that, and they can take opportunities to work overtime as academic leaders in school complexes. So all more opportunities for teachers to connect with other schools and increase their, increase their income, which now we don't have. That's why they're actually trying to cover the tuition part. They want to remove the tuition centers and all that. They want to bring it under cluster schools, and they want to give teachers more opportunity to earn. The new education policy has also emphasized on the need of additional special educators, which Sir just mentioned, the importance of counselors and special educators. So a special certificate program will be provided here, which the existing teachers can take. As in, if I'm an English teacher, I'm a science teacher, I'm a math teacher, I can still take that additional course of special education so that I understand my children better. And these certification courses will be provided as a part of your comprehensive professional development. So you see how much of development and opportunities are there for all of us as teachers. Now, can we go to the next slide? So by 2021, a new national curriculum framework for teacher education, I mean the B.Ed program, for that also a new framework will be formulated, and it will be available for all of us. And there we see that there are innumerable teacher education centers which are there, which are not delivering quality training programs, and because of that, the quality of teachers that we get is deteriorating. So these centers will be, checked, and these will be closed. So it will, the centers, can we go to the next slide? The centers which are not providing quality teacher training will be closed, will be shut down, and certified programs through the government will come, and they will provide quality comprehensive professional development. So these kind of professional development programs, the way APHRDI is providing with certificate courses, centralized programs will be there, and localized private programs where they teach extra money, that such things will be shut down by the country. So this is about teacher education. So, the pre-primary, primary and secondary teachers, they'll have different, each one will be treated equally. There is no hierarchy where the secondary teacher is the most highest or most experienced. And in the same section, they'll go for vertical growth, and increments will be given accordingly. 50 hours of comprehensive professional development will be made mandatory. 50 hours is important, mandatory for teachers and leaders. So these are the important takeaways for us as teachers. Now, if we come to the 7th chapter, which talks about equitable and inclusive education. In this, an important section or important point is gender inclusion funds. So gender inclusion funds to encourage girl child education as well as transgender students who are left out of the schools. Most of the dropouts are also transgender students. So transgender is also taken into account, not just girls. So funds will be provided so that we are able to provide them with quality education. Children with disabilities are also will also be asked to come into the regular school. So it won't be a special school separately and a normal school separately. Inclusion is the rule here. So they are trying to bring them into the regular schools, and the regular school infrastructure and the staff, I mean the teachers as special educators, special certifications for them will be provided. This financial support will be provided to schools so that they integrate these children in the normal schools. Many devices and technology support tools will also be provided to schools, so that that is the new textbooks will be given with braille and larger prints. So all this will help us to integrate special children into our normal and regular schools. Here they have given importance to girl child education and transgender students. Special funds will be provided to bring them into the normal schools. So this is the seventh chapter. Now if we come to the eighth chapter, which is a very important chapter, can we go to the next slide? Yes, which is cluster schools. Now this has been coming in the previous slides. So let me explain what it means by cluster school. By cluster school, this is one of these rules being followed in Sahodiyas. What they do is in one area, all the schools come together and they become a group, and they together they will do professional development program. And in one school, if they have a good science teacher, she can become a resource teacher for other science teachers in other schools also. I mean, she can become train the trainer program kind. She can teach the other teachers to make their pedagogy or best practice, their lesson plans effective, or she can go to other schools also. So now one teacher will not be restricted to one school, but if she has got something good with her which she can share, she can go and share it with other schools in school complexes. These school complexes, like 3 to 5 kilometer radius, all the schools will come together. So we will have a vibrant communities of teachers, school leaders, and support staff. So here the problem is to kill the competition. It will not be like schools competing with each other. It is like together we come together, and education and children will become education for children will become the main focus here. Otherwise, now schools are competing with each other, and somewhere there the main goal is gone away. So that is why this is important. And when we become school clusters, we will have better integration at all levels, that is early childhood, middle school, preparatory school, middle school, and also higher school. And resource material like science laboratory, if one school is having a huge playground, if another school is having a science laboratory, if one school doesn't have all this, they only have provision for classrooms, so each one can use their resources with each other. So that way these cluster schools will help each other. There will be a critical mass of teachers, students, support staff, as well as equipment and infrastructure, which will help them support each other. Now, here there can be a challenge of how we will bring about the public-private partnership, and looking at the different kinds of schools that we have, like different boards, CBSE, ICSE, IB, IGCSE. We don't know how these cluster schools will be effective. But at least a move to bring all the schools together and kill the competition and work towards a common goal is certainly a very, very good idea which has come from national education policy. The school complex will give certain anatomy to the DSC to innovate towards providing integrated experiments with pedagogy. I mean, if we can experiment with the way that we are teaching with the curriculum through while being in the curricular framework. To further enhance the cooperation, positive synergy among schools, the public-private schools will twin or become pairs, as in one school will pair with another school, and together they will work on the same goal. So now you see these things that we hear often about, right? Very, very high-end private schools, they say that they have adopted a government school. Now that is not needed. They will twin that private school with that government school, and together they will work. Some teachers from that private school will go to the government school. Some teachers from the government school will go to the private school, and they can share the infrastructure for the betterment of children. So the focus here is children and the quality of education that we are giving to them. The focus is not to keep the privacy of one school or rate one school over the other. That is why cluster school in a way is very, very important for all of us. One of you, so this is about cluster school. Schools within 3 to 5 kilometers will come together, and professional development will happen in that cluster schools. Teachers, resources, buildings, all this can be mutually used between these schools. So this is about cluster schools. One of you have asked me to repeat the chapter 7. So can we go to the chapter 7 slide? 2 previous slides. It is talking about inclusive education. Can we go to the previous slide, please? So this chapter 7 is talking about inclusive education. In inclusive education, they are not just talking about children with disabilities, but they are also going to provide funds for children, for girls and transgender students. And these special funds will be used to make your school, I mean, equip your school with a physical facility better, so that a regular school and a special school need not be separate. The same school should be able to take special children also. So teachers will be given certification program and funds will be provided to upgrade building upgradation, and also they will provide you with technology support. They will give you new books with larger prints and braille and things like that. So support will be provided to regular schools so that they can take special children in their schools. So support in the form of tools, devices, training, and funds. So that all schools become inclusive. It is like normal children and special children are not treated differently. They all come under the same section. That is the goal. Can we go to the next slides, please? Ninth chapter. Somebody asked a question that is it very, very special children and girl education and transgender also, sir? So someone asked a question, is cluster school or school complexes possible? Everything is possible. Maybe initially it will be difficult. Maybe certain areas can be, when cluster schools are talking about bringing schools together, maybe certain things we won't be able to do, but at least professional development we will be able to do. At least sharing best practices we will be able to do. So maybe not full, but to some extent it will happen. And now that it is coming from the government and national education policy, the private schools which used to behave as though they are the elite crowd and separate out from the budget schools and government schools, that won't be encouraged. They have to now come together. So this is something to do with non-commercialization of education. So I'm sure we will have challenges, but maybe not to full extent, but to some extent this will happen. So the ninth chapter, which is the last chapter of school education, we are coming to the ninth chapter, which is the last chapter. So what are the chapters that we have already covered till now? We have taken the structure of the school, which is changed now from 10 plus 2, it has become 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. Then we have taken into consideration early childhood education, that is nursery, LKG, UKG, till now we used to call it, but now it is nursery, LKG, UKG, grade 1 and grade 2. So here EC trained teachers is important. So from now onwards, we should start doing EC training in our schools and get ready. And then the third chapter talked about foundation literacy and numeracy. That is basic literacy and numeracy is important. 3-month course should be given to children before they join grade 1 so that they all come to the same level. Then the fourth chapter talked about dropouts, how to control the dropouts through counselors, alumni network, counseling the children and bringing them back to school. Let them know about the new education system, how they will be benefited, and maybe that is the way we can control the dropouts. Then we talked about curriculum and pedagogy, and that was the largest chapter which talked about the focus shift from rote learning to hands-on learning and the new assessment system. We talked about teachers and the facilities that they will get, and then we talked about inclusive schools, how to make the regular schools inclusive schools, and now we have come to the then we spoke about cluster schools, that is the school complexes. And now we have come to the last chapter, which is standard, setting an accreditation of school education. Now, this is a school education regulatory system which will provide continually improved education outcome. As I was just telling you that I don't know how and what would be the challenge in bringing the boards together. So to bring the boards together, this kind of a standard, one specific accreditation centers are required, which will try to bridge the gap which is there between the boards. At present, all the function of governance and regulations of school education system is with the DO. And this currently in regulatory regime has not been able to curb the rampant commercialization. That is the gap between the private, budget and government school. This is happening now. So because the entire thing is between the DO and the state. So that is why there'll be a system called State School Standard Authority, SSSA, which will bridge this gap, and this body will make all the organizations, there'll be a quality standard with irrespective of a budget school, private school, all of them have to follow. And on their website they have to show all the financial probity, all the fees that they charge, so that everything is very clear. Exploit parents. So here private school exploitation they are trying to curb by giving a state school standard authority. So the running of the schools as such will be taken care of the DO, but SSSA authority will try to bridge the gap between different both schools. They will be regulating and accrediting the system, and they will also take care of the quality of teacher education that is happening. Can we go to the next slide? So that there is transparent public self-disclosure. I mean, on their website, all the school websites will be there. On the school website, everything has to be kept very, very clearly. And all the public and private schools, not just private schools, not just public schools, all of them together through the same they'll be assessed through the same system, and accreditations will be happen, and this will be mandated by SSSA. Now, for all the schools which are managed by the central government, that the CBSE in consultation with MHRD will prepare the regulatory framework. So again, as I said, between the different boards, they will bridge the gap, so that we have a one robust education system, and which will be towards one national effort or a goal, which is betterment of quality of education and not commercialization of education. So SSSA will be formed, which will help us bridge the gap, and which will help disclose the financial details of the private school especially, so that there is transparency and we will have less gap between the private and public schools, budget schools, so that the cluster schools becomes easier. So this is the last chapter of school education. As we all deal with school education is the major chapter for all of us. Can we go to the next chapter? I'm not going to touch the higher education in this session of mine today. Next slide, please. And the third part, the second part is the higher education. The first part is school education, which under that we have these 9 chapters. Can we go to the next slide, please? Now we come to the second part, which is the higher education, which is graduation and post-graduation, doctorate and all that, which we will deal in a separate session has to be taken for that. And the third part is other key areas of focus, where it will talk about adult education. It will talk about promotion of Indian languages, use of technology. All these things will be brought into the school education and higher education. Can we go to the next slide, please? Now, the fourth and the last part of the national education policy will talk about making it happen. A huge challenge for all of us to make it happen. And I'm sure it is possible when all of us come together for a single cause, which is the betterment of the society by bettering the quality of education for our children. When we all understand the importance of this, I'm sure making it happen is very easy. So, what will government do? It will strengthen the CAPE, Central Advisory Board of Education. The ministry MHRD will be redesigned, and it will redesignated, and it will be called Ministry of Education. Now there'll be more allotment of funds for education, and central government and all state governments to reach 6% of GDP at earliest, and reach up to 20% of public expenditure over 10-year period. So we will have more budget allotted. So the policies will be led by various bodies, which is MHRD, CAVE, Union and State Government, Education-related ministries, State Department of Education boards, NTA, NCRT, SCRT, along with the timelines and plan of reviews will be given by all of them. The next slide. Yearly joint review of the progress of implementation of the policy will be done, and by a designated team, which will be given by MHRD, and this will be reviewed by CAVE, and this will be given to all of us. I mean, all of us as educators, we will be able to see the progress of the implementation of the policy yearly, which will be conducted by MHRD, and it will be reviewed by CAVE. So by 2030 to 40, the entire policy will be in the operation mode. This will start from 20 to 23, and by 30-40, we all will ensure together that we will bring about this policy into the operation mode. So with this, we come to the end of national education policy. Can we come to the next slide, please? So I've tried to simplify the national education policy to as easiest way possible to all of you. Let me quickly try to recapitulate. The old policy was formulated in 86, which was upgraded in 92. And the focus of the old policy was right of children to free and compulsory education, which we did. Now the new education policy wants to transform India and wants to bring the Indian ethos and our culture into the education system through mother tongue, through different learning experience, and we want to bring high quality of education and make global knowledge India the global knowledge superpower. This is the vision of the new policy. The new policy is divided into 4 parts. The first part is school education, 9 chapters. The second part is higher education with 12 chapters. Third part is other key areas, and fourth chapter is making it happen. In the first chapter, which is school education, which is very important for all of us, the first chapter in that is the structure. The structure previously was, answer in the comment box. What was the structure previously? Which is now? What is the structure do we follow now? This is the first chapter in school education. We will ensure that you all get a PowerPoint presentation. Can anybody comment and tell me what was the old structure? Yes, 10 plus 2. What is the new structure? New structure has got 4 parts now. 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. Yes. And 5 is the foundational stage, which is the second chapter. The second chapter is talking about early childhood care and education. Previously, it was only nursery, LKG and UKG. Now it will be till grade 2. And then the third and 3 and 3 and 4. And here the focus will also come on early childhood education, trained teacher. So EC training will become important now. Now the third chapter will talk about foundation literacy and numeracy. So if for now, if we are taking children admission in grade 1, we have to give them a 3-month course so that they all come to the same level. Now, which is the fourth chapter? It will talk about how to decrease the dropout rates. And then we will talk about curriculum and pedagogy, and then the teachers, and then the inclusion model, and then we will talk about cluster schools, and the last chapter will talk about governance, which is through SSSA. So are you happy with the way our new education policy has come? So you see, it is very, very important. Our professional development have taken the center stage. So a lot of professional development for teachers and leaders. Early childhood education training should be started, and all this should be our preparation. We should all start changing the way curriculum planning is done. That is, lesson planning is happening. We should include more of projects and hands-on learning from now onwards. Slowly, we should start all of that. And textbooks should be less in the early years. From grade 3 onwards, the textbook inclusion should happen. With this, I end my session. Can we come to the next slide, please? Thank you so much, all of you. Again, I apologize for the delay in the beginning time. I don't know, there was some kind of an issue with my laptop. Because of that, I couldn't connect the audio. But I'm sure, so I wasted some of your time. I apologize for that. But I'm sure the rest of the time, was it useful for all of you? I always believe that time is the best thing that someone can give someone. And if you have given me your 1 hour of your life, then it's very important for me to do justice to that. So are you all clear? Now, do you have an in-depth idea about the national education policy?
Sir?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Kaushal, one of the points I have about the linkages in higher education is,
yes, sir.
Probably we should spend a lot more time on linking the CSIR institutions, the DRDO institutions,
Yes, sir.
and institutions of excellence with the rest of the academic bodies on the one hand,
Yes.
and the administrative departments and organizations on the other. You see, it is not correct to leave it to the concerned departments of the state or the government of India. The national education
I agree.
policy should clearly have delineated the route map. There's a lot of convergence needed. Now, what the NEP says is the NCRT and other organizations will do it. I don't think NCRT can do that kind of a thing.
Yeah, in implementation, one of these challenges will be there, as you have mentioned, sir. But I am sure that if we start from our level, that is the school level, if we slowly start by formulating our own professional development programs, like if you as a APA HRDI start your own professional development programs for early years, for special educators, for gifted children, for counselors, I'm sure we'll be equipped enough.
No,
In fact,
I fully agree. But the only point is, these are not theoretically, it's a very highly desirable thing. But the devil is in the details. The
Yes, higher education, the connect between the school and the higher education, what you're talking about, is certainly one area of.
no institution of higher learning, either it's a university or institutions of learning, have perfected the mentoring action.
You are right.
Mentoring of lower institutions. There are no linkages,
Yes, you are right.
unfortunately, and this cannot be left to the states. States will not be able to do it. This is the point I'm trying to make.
Maybe what will happen is all these institutes which are working independently now will come into the government wing, and they will contribute to one single center. And I think there'll be huge requirement for subject matter experts here.
Yeah, but I think probably a little more of detailing in the education policy would have helped. Otherwise,
This is
all
the
our
first.
actions will become declarations of faith.
Yes. For now, with our school education system, what we can start is we can start by replanning our curriculum as from the perspective of project method, inquiry based. Starting with our training program, skill development program, vocational training to be integrated into the school system. All this we can start now, and wait for more details into the higher education system which comes.
Yeah, and then of course at the state level there is a lot of action called for, because now every department is used to functioning in silos. For instance, I do not think the education department would like to strongly integrate with the Panchayat Raj, where there are a lot of staff available. So I think a lot more of action is also called for in terms of that.
No, there will be challenges for sure, but at least there'll be a start.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm very glad and I'm very happy that the focus have shifted to quality in education.
Absolutely, that's true. That is true. But
So,
unfortunately, I think,
yes,
one of the major challenges is the best of teachers are in the government schools.
yes, sir.
They came through a competitive process.
Exactly, sir.
And somehow I think we have not been able to make full use of them
Yes,
in
we are
the
not.
public systems. Whereas the
Right.
best may not be available in the private, but I think they have been producing results.
The lack of encouragement for contribution is also one of the reason. Now, when this cluster school thing will come, they will their work and they'll be going to more schools to contribute. So I think that will certainly bring about that change in the way their work is not recognized as of today.
Right, yeah.
So thank you so much for this opportunity, and looking forward to more sessions where we will talk about different developmental domains. Sir, we should talk about development and learning in education. And we should do
Sure.
more sessions on early childhood education also, sir.
You may like to send a mail indicating your preferences and priorities. I'm sure APHRDA would take note of that.
And we can take volunteers from the schools and teachers, and we can start our own early childhood training program. I'm sure that that will give a good understanding of how children learn and develop in early years, which is very, very important. 85% of the brain is developed by the time children finish their early years. So it is very important that we put the right framework there.
There is a question from one of the participants. Ma'am, do you really think that the challenges new policy poses can be addressed with the millions of schools the country has? Why
Yes,
not? Why not?
it will be, I always feel that when the cause is so big, the cause is for children and for the quality of education that we give them. And with the millions of schools also have millions of people like us who are there to bring about that change. So it won't be a one-person effort, but all of us coming together for a cause will certainly help us come out of those challenges. Challenges will always be there. I'm sure we will come out of the challenges. You see, no change is easy. Every change will have its challenges. Always you have seen any kind of a change which comes, is always comes with a lot of challenges. But if our focus is right, we will be able to bring certain challenges. But I'm too sure that certain things may not be mandatory from the NEP policy. We will also have, we can also give our recommendations.
Yeah.
But they will try.
One of the very good things is the sensitization of school children about the constitutional values. That's a very important thing.
Yes. And the importance of hands-on learning is will bring about a complete shift in the way schooling will be taken by children.
Yeah.
The
This
entire
this is something akin to the Gandhiji's basic education
heart,
and moral value,
head and
right?
hand. Education of heart, head and hand.
Yeah,
That is, you need to understand, then you need to learn it from your heart and you need to do it. Learning by doing.
that's
The
right.
Gandhi policy, holistic development. Yes, we are going back to our roots. We have a question here.
Ram Garu, you are a member, you can unmute your mic and you can ask your question, sir. Mr. Ram. You can unmute your mic, sir.
No, there is a question, I think, which is about the polytechnics and ITIs. Would you like to take that question, ma'am?
A question related to higher education, sir. So higher education is a separate session that we should take because it's got 12 chapters. Today, if I what we will mix education and higher education. So maybe after a week or two, we should education.
Right, sure.
So can I log off now?
Ram Garu, మీరు ఏమైనా అడగదలుచుకుంటే అడగచ్చు, sir.
Mr. Ram?
Yes.
Your mic is unmuted, sir. You can ask your question,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Ram, please go ahead. Yeah.
So,
I think there is a problem with his connectivity.
So you can type the question because your mic, I think we're not able to hear you properly. We can't hear you, sir. Do you think?
Can you type your question in the chat box, Mr. Ram?
Any other question any one of you have got? This PowerPoint presentation will be uploaded on the website so you all can have an access to it and read it. I've tried to make it very simple and understandable, and it only deals with the details of school education. Please note that I've not mentioned the higher education in the same PowerPoint presentation. We will deal with it in a separate PPT because I don't want to mix both the theories together and both the chapters.
Prabhudeva, now you can propose the word of thanks after making some announcements.